Hey everyone, welcome back to Lazy Cow Reactions. This is episode 5 of season 15 of Heartland, titled Blood and Water. So far, we've seen that Tim and Jessica got married. Things are getting back to normal as much as they can after Ty's death. It's been about 18 months. Heartland was broken into, and turns out that it was like circus people who did it, since they were in town when it happened. So Jack installed a security camera, but I knew he wasn't going to keep it. Like I said, though, honestly, I think he should have it. I think that the ranch is long overdue for it. And to be honest, the fact that they went 15 years without a break-in is pretty impressive. I mean, I know, like, from what they've said on the show, that it's like a small town and not a lot of crime, not a lot of stuff happens. But stuff does happen, you know? And you do get out-of-towners and juvenile delinquents and such. So, and plus I think it would have been good for him to have cameras anyways, like in the barn, to keep an eye on the horses. You know, I think I've said that before. But I had always thought that, yeah, there should be cameras and such in the barn to kind of keep an eye on the horses. Because what if something did happen the night? Granted, of course, if they're asleep, they're not going to see it anyways, but at least the cameras would pick something up. And yeah, Jack, as we all know, Jack is incredibly stubborn and set in his ways, you know? And he grew up in a time where he didn't need it. I mean, they even talked about people don't lock their doors. And I'm like, does that really happen nowadays in the 21st century? Are there really places, even small towns, where people don't lock their doors? I mean, where I live is technically kind of a small-ish area, and there's not a lot of crime, luckily. We still lock our doors. We still have cameras. Because you can never be too safe, you know? And if it gives you that peace of mind. So I think with this episode, we're going to see some of the aftermath, some of the recovery from the robbery. Let's get started. Lou started to let Katie to babysit, which was a good idea because she needs it for Lindy. Plus, she can make big bucks, as she said. When I was babysitting, you were happy to make like $5, you know?
You and Shadow sure look good together.
I'm starting to form a real bond. Sort of like you and Buddy. Yeah, it'd be good to hang with the girls in the pretty much.
Damn, that's a big piece.
I am impressed. I still can't believe you guys just eloped.
Well, we didn't actually plan it.
Aww.
We just got kind of swept up in the
I love
unique
he
traditions and
puts his face by his foot.
kind of went for it. Okay, so how does you tell?
You know, like I said, at least she hit the send button, even though it said not delivered. I wonder if it will deliver later, because sometimes when they're back in range, anything delayed will go ahead and post, you know? So maybe Jack was all badass there with the gun, you know? I mean, he comes up, and I like how he was just kind of shooting up in the air, you know? He didn't want to shoot the bear. I mean, obviously he would if he had to. If the bear charged him, then yeah, he would go ahead and shoot the bear. But I like that he was giving the bear the chance to get away, you know, before. That was good.
Hang on! Nice and easy, nice and easy. Good job, Fred. Are you alright?
Oh, that's in the cold water, too. Good job, Trail Boss. I feel kind of bad for Fred because, you know, he's all wet. You know, obviously they can only carry a certain amount of stuff with them, but you would think that, yeah, they would pack some towels in case something like that happens. Granted, they all expect that they're experienced enough. Fred wants some credit. I don't blame him.
Let's make a world where you can go.
You know, to be honest, I do think it's good that Fred was on that trail ride, because it kind of gives them a behind the scenes of what they have to go through. Because all he does is sell their beef, you know. So this way he kind of sees some of the operation, as you will. It works. And I think he's going to have a deeper appreciation for it, too.
I've been thinking about that chat we had.
It's nice that they're up there in the lawn.
Campfire.
I'm sorry. I know I overshare. You're just so adorable
It's
in
not
that robe.
No, it's not that. I sensed something in the family.
Yeah, they thought it was hilarious.
Beneath the laughter. I think they felt left out.
But the truth is, I never want to make you or Amy feel that you're obligated to take over this ranch.
That's good.
That's what my father did with me, and there's no way I would expect that from either of you girls.
Maybe they wouldn't want to take it over, but maybe one of their kids would.
Think
Like
about
Katie
it.
or Lindy.
Make the decision on your own when the time comes.
Well, did you mean what you said?
Yes, I meant it. Does that scare you?
I'm here.
So what do we do now?
Try again. About fucking time! Sorry, buddy. You know, I've been saying for years how they were idiots. You know, I was thinking about this, and it made me think of the movie Troop Beverly Hills with Shelley Long. 80s film. If you haven't seen it, find it. It's pretty good. As a former Girl Scout, you know, it was something that I could kind of relate to a little bit. But in the movie, Shelley Long and Craig T. Nelson are going through a divorce. They're rich, because it's called Troop Beverly Hills. They're going through a divorce. They have a daughter who, of course, is caught in the middle of it. And she obviously just wants the two of them to just get back together. And of course, by the end of the movie, they do. They kind of talk, reconnect. He says, maybe we should get married. And the mother laughs and says, again. And their daughter said the perfect line. She said, it's about time you two grew up. And that's basically what I'm saying here with Peter and Lou. It's like, it's about time you two grew up. I said this before when they were first splitting up. They never discussed marriage counseling, which I think could have helped them. I think what happened is they got married. They loved each other. And sometimes you have to grow apart to grow together. When I did my reactions to Nancy Drew, I think there was something about that in there. The characters of George and Ned, or Ned Nickerson, he goes by Nick. They were dating, but at one point they broke up. And George basically said that they had to kind of grow apart to grow together. Like they had to go off and kind of explore on their own in order to come back together. And so in a way, it's kind of the same here. They had to grow apart, break up, you know, they loved each other, they got married. Obviously, the timing wasn't good because of him taking his job in Vancouver, them not willing to work through it. Maybe they were too young to get married. They were probably, late 20s, his second marriage or something. So maybe they were too young to get married. Or too premature, maybe. They had to grow apart. They had to separate, they had to divorce, they had to see other people, you know, Lou with Mitch, him with Jen, that Sylvia, whoever else there was. They had to experience time apart. And now, hopefully, they're getting back together and it'll be permanent. And I've said that they do that sometimes on TV shows. I think I said that back in season 8 or 9 whenever they had announced that they were separating. I think I said, hopefully they will get back together. I did not know that they were, but I'm glad to see it finally happening. And again, they're both older. They're both more mature now. So now they might be able to make a relationship work. Granted, he still has his job in Vancouver. But like I was saying back then for season 8, season 9, season 6, whatever, when they were going through these problems, why in the hell didn't Lou go and be with him? You know, He was always the one making the effort, making the trip to Heartland to see her and the girls. And I understand you can't move the girls. They've got school. They've got their events. Lou is a busy woman, but she would be more in the position to go visit him. So why didn't they do something like that? Like she either could have spent a week each month in Vancouver with him, and then he shows up at the end of the week, or if she couldn't do a whole week, maybe a weekend. You know, like she would fly to Vancouver on a Friday, fly back on a Monday. So it'd have all Friday night, all Saturday, all Sunday, and then Monday morning. And then he could go off to work and she could fly home. Obviously then they chat and stuff and make it work. Because some people do make it work. Some do long distance relationships and make it work. I've mentioned this before about the show Supernatural. You know, the two lead actors have lives in Texas and they filmed in Vancouver. Speaking of Vancouver. So they, of course, would fly to Vancouver to film, you know, and they're still married. They have 3 kids. You know, they still have their spouses and their 3 kids because they made it work. Because, you know, they'd fly out. I'm sure that they probably called, FaceTimed all the time. There were some times when on the weekends they would fly back. So maybe they'd fly back on a Friday, then fly back out Monday or something. So they would at least get the weekends home with their kids and family. So Lou and Peter could have made it work before, but Lou wasn't willing to. She wanted Peter with her. And I get it. Again, they have 2 kids. It would be harder for the kids to go. But it just seemed like Lou wasn't willing to give an inch. It was always Peter having to go to them. And I can understand that maybe taking its toll. So I'm glad to see that maybe they're finally growing up, realizing that they are meant to be. And hopefully, from here on out, Lou and Peter will be the ride and die. Thank you for joining me for episode 5 of season 15 of Heartland. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit the like button and subscribe for more content. I hope you enjoyed Kitty Kitty joining us. Look at how cute he is. Isn't he cute? He's a wifey. If you can, follow me on Instagram and TikTok, and there is also a link in the description to support me on Buy Me a Coffee. I would appreciate it if you can. You get a shout out in a future video. I will see you for episode 6 titled Happy Ever After.